This gag was a bit rough.
How many gallons of water is coming at you?
That is me and Antal, and they're dumping 80,000 gallons of water on us.
What's up, guys? Today's guest is a professional stuntman and stunt double. Please welcome to the JAMCast, Mr. Dan Mast. What's up, Dan?
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. What's funny, guys, is I've known Dan for like a decade, and we worked together a long time ago, and just in the past like month or so, we worked together like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, it's been years until now.
And then all of a sudden it's been like a massive reunion.
Yeah.
Partially because Dan has been kind enough to be a stunt double on my show Stumptown for a couple of episodes.
Thanks for having me out there, by the way.
Hell yeah, coming out and killing it as always. And then funny enough, we just worked for another boss of ours, Mike Gaines, over the weekend. So
yeah, that was a fun one.
and I gotta let the people know about this because this story just made me die still. Was Dan shows up to work on this job with Mike Gaines, and I'm like, what'd you do this week? And he's like, oh, I had a rehearsal yesterday for a job Monday. And I'm like, I actually got a call for that same job, but I turned it down. What'd you have to do?
Oh.
And the funniest thing about it was you said on the call sheet it said cart crash.
Yeah.
So what did you think was gonna happen?
It said cart hit.
Okay, cart hit.
And I thought maybe like, I had to run into like a shopping cart or something.
Yeah.
Like nothing big. Like I went into it expecting nothing. And it turns out I'm strapped to a wire from like the 3rd floor of this office building, and I'm dropping onto a food cart
At full speed.
At full speed. Just cut the wire. Just let him go.
Dude, when I heard that, I was like, wow, I'm not too bummed out that I missed that one.
It was a good one.
Man.
It was a good one.
It's just like another standard stunt story for the kids to hear out there.
Yeah.
They're like, always be prepared.
Yeah. I always bring my entire bag just in case.
Yeah. People are always making fun of me like, what's the suitcase for?
Oh, I know.
And I'm like, dude, I don't know if I'm taking a car hit today or if I'm just going to get slapped in the face.
Yeah,
so.
There's always someone who comments on the sides of my bag, and I'm like, you'd be surprised how often I use everything in this bag on any given day.
And on top of that, I mean, we talked about this the other day. As you get more and more of a veteran within our industry, you start to pack more stuff in your bag, not just stunt pads.
Yeah,
so
I'm at the point where I have the biggest bag out there, and I need a bigger bag.
Exactly.
It's stupid.
But what are some of the things that you keep in your bag besides, like, obviously we have our hard pads, our soft pads, and our harnesses. Yeah. But some of the things we were talking about the other day were pretty funny. What else do you have in your bag?
Oh, some key things that I keep in my bag that I guess you probably wouldn't find in someone else's bag is caffeine. I keep a lot of caffeine pills. I don't do well at nights, and I don't do well early mornings, and I'm not a huge coffee drinker, so I'm always taking those.
I saw you take one night. I can attest to this on a night shoot. Yeah.
If it hit for 4 a.m., I'm munching caffeine pills like candy.
All right, so caffeine pills is one. What's another veteran stunt bag item you got?
Another one I have I have this teeny tiny little camping chair that folds. And sometimes if you're just out in the dirt and they're like, good luck. It's like, all right, well, at least I have my little chair, you know.
Stay away from the bugs a little bit, right?
Yeah. Keep me from, sitting in the dirt, getting attacked.
100%. Really I think one of the third ones that we both have in our bag, it's a mark of someone that's done a while, is CBD cream or ibuprofen.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I have a ton of ibuprofen in my bag.
100%. You just never know. And then I think the fourth one that we share in common is hand warmers.
Yes.
Yes. Do not sleep on the hand warmers, kids.
No. Hand warmers, feet warmers, they're great.
Is that something you guys use in the UK, Sam, when it's freezing? You guys use hand warmers?
Yo, all day.
Yeah, you guys.
Stomach is just freezing.
I was going to say, in the UK, that's probably like a staple of the bags. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. They probably need it way more than we do here in California.
It's crazy, man. Yeah. But well, thanks for coming out, man. I appreciate working with you recently, and I really wanted to have you come by because not only did we start our career around the same time, but we followed like a very similar path in the sense that like 10, 11 years ago, we were very big more so in the parkour scene and then made the transition more into film and television stunts.
Yep.
So how long ago did you actually start training, and what's your background in? Is it tumbling at first, or how long ago did you start flipping?
I started gymnastics.
Wow.
So I was a gymnast. I got into it when I was really little. And then my parents were always very hesitant about me doing anything. So they kind of pulled me out thinking I was getting hurt. And then around 12, I was like, dude, I suck at baseball. This isn't going anywhere. You guys put me back in gymnastics. And so they did.
Nice.
And, so I competed in gymnastics from the time I was like 12 until I graduated high school.
Okay.
I got all the way up to like level 10. And then...
And I thought that. I just wasn't 100% sure. Because I knew at one point, like, I used to always see videos of you and Drew training at an old gymnastics
way
gym.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that up until my senior year. I was going to retire after high school anyway, but I got cut short with an injury. So that cut me like 6 months short. And then as soon as I was back on my feet, I didn't want to get back into competing, but I was still playing around in the gym. So that's kind of how I stumbled into parkour and free running.
No way. And where are you from? Are you actually from Southern California originally? Born and raised, right?
I'm LA.
Yes.
LA native.
One of the few, just like me.
Yeah. Yes.
And you're from where? Out in Agora, or what part of LA?
I grew up in Agora Hills.
Okay, cool. Hell yeah, man. So along the lines of that, I guess, when did you specifically stumble upon parkour? What was your introduction to parkour and free running? Did you see something, or?
I don't know the first thing I saw, because it was so long ago. It had probably something on YouTube, probably like a David Bell video, I'm sure.
Totally.
But the first thing that really grabbed me was some of the old Tempest videos, and that's how I linked up with them. I started talking to them in the gym, and then I just started hanging out with them, training with them, and that's how that relationship started.
Yeah, it was one of the coolest things was like, I Free Run LA. It was one of the biggest videos back in the day.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because for all of us in LA, these guys were like 20 minutes away from us, training at Gymnastics Olympica down the road. So
yeah, that's where I used to train, like, on, Thursday nights. I'd go out to Gymnastics Olympica.
Hell yeah.
And I'd see them training there, and that was how I kind of figured out who they were, looked them up, was super impressed, super into it, and then I just kind of pursued hanging out with them, getting to know what they were into, and
totally.
One thing led to another. And
do you think your gymnastics background like helped a lot in your transition, or do you think you had to like break some habits from gymnastics? That's a question I've always wanted to ask gymnasts. I
found that it was hard to break some of my older habits. I was never I wasn't like a gymnast when I was like 5, so I would say it was probably a little bit easier to break some of those habits than maybe your standard 18-year-old gymnast.
Totally. Yeah.
But it was hard. Like anything,
like split stepping,
anything off axis, twisting was difficult for me.
Totally.
Not sticking the landing was hard for me. I was like, okay. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, somehow it was weird.
And then obviously having a background in flips helped though, right? Like what was the hardest flip that you had done up at level 10 at that point in your career? Were you doing like doubles or?
Yeah, I was my injury was doing full twisting double backs on floor.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so that's how I
bragged
myself.
And what injury did you sustain?
That was torn Achilles number 1.
And we'll have to get into that because
that was the first time
you've had a few.
Yeah.
Holy crap. That is crazy, man. All right. Yeah. So shortly after that, I guess, is when you start making your transition into training. And I kind of wanted to pull up something that I saw online. Sam, pull up the first parkour one from like
07.
Yeah, let's look at that one, dude.
Jeez. 07.
Let's take a look at this, man. And so for those of you that are just listening to the audio cast of this, go ahead and head over to our YouTube channel, or you can head over and look up Dan Mast channel on YouTube.
07.
And we're watching is this the gym in Agora? Where is this?
Yeah, this is the gym that I used to coach at.
Wow.
When that was the gym I was competing at. And then I had my injury, and then I continued coaching there.
Okay.
And so this is like a video we shot like between teaching classes. Like this is like no joke, like just figuring out what parkour and free running was. And clearly it's not. It's just us tumbling and jumping off of things.
And for those that aren't aware, who's the other guy in the video with you?
I was an old buddy of mine, Drew. We used to coach at the same gym together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, it's just tumbling and stuff.
But it's cool to see. It's cool to see like how comfortable you are inside the gym, and then it's outside. You're doing like a backflip.
Yeah. It was weird doing anything outside of the gym that didn't involve pads and stuff, And like this, I shot and edited on like a tape recorder.
Yeah.
With like on iMovie, I think.
No way.
Yeah.
So super old school. But yeah, that's one thing that I've always was curious about was like obviously having a gymnastics background helps because you know flips.
Yeah.
But it's also a 1000% indoor gym sport surrounded by soft cushiony stuff.
Yeah.
So mentally, did that affect you at all? Like when you were
for
outside?
Sure. Yeah, it was weird going outside and training without pads, and it was also weird because like this was less than a year after my injury.
So it's fresh in your mind.
Yeah, so
yeah,
everything was very new.
That's so crazy, man.
It's so funny watching this video.
It's a trip, right?
I didn't even know this was still on YouTube.
Most people that come on these JAMCasts are like shocked to go down memory lane.
Oh no, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I used to coach classes, and then I'd have like half an hour break, and I'd just get on the trampoline with this big old bulky camera.
Totally. And just start ripping it.
Yeah,
man.
it's so funny.
Oh, it's so funny, man. And the other reason why I wanted to see this one is just so people could see like the huge disparity between like the skill levels. Because what year is this, Sam? This is 07, right?
So
and
I
so
was 18 years old.
let's fast forward and kind of like, you know, not skip too much, but like fast forward. What year was it that you actually became a member of Team Tempest?
I became a member of Tempest in 09.
I think so.
Yeah, 09.
2009.
Maybe even a little. Yeah, it was like the beginning of 09 or the end of 08.
Totally. And that must have been one of the coolest accomplishments, especially having only been in the game for a few years and training with these guys.
I remember where I was when I got the phone call.
Yeah. So what happened and where were you?
I was inside Pizza Hut.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't even like Pizza Hut. But maybe I did 10 years ago. But I remember, I don't know.
That's how much we change, right?
Yeah, I remember being inside Pizza Hut, and then
Okay.
Rich King called me. And I called him out of the blue. I didn't even know he had my phone number at the time. He calls me, and he asked me if I wanted to become a member.
Of Team Tempest.
Yeah, Team Tempest.
And what'd you do? Would you try to play it off cool?
Of course I had to play it off cool, man. I was like, oh, yeah. Let me get back to you. No, I was so stoked.
I bet, dude. It's one of those where you hang up the phone and you just like scream.
Yeah.
Like, yes, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
That
man.
was awesome. And I owe my entire career to that phone call.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, shout out to those guys, man. Even myself, man. I still to this day credit Gabe Nunez, Skywalker, for teaching me my first vaults at Geo.
Yeah.
Without him, I would have never booked any parkour jobs.
For sure.
I'd have no full understanding of everything, you know.
Yeah,
so.
Gabe's been one of the main guys since day one.
Totally.
Victor, Rich, Paul, all those guys.
Yeah, 100%. I learned like basics from Andrew Ng, and then every style move I ever thought of was all influenced by Gabe. So
yeah, Gabe has always had the most original style.
yes.
And 10 years ago to have a style like that was unheard of. Like now you have people like Pasha who create a lot of their own style, but back then it was unheard of. No one was doing anything that Gabe was doing.
Back when he competed at the Barclay Car Championship, he did a 360 precision, and people shit themselves because no one's doing 360 rail prees, especially in a competition until like 10 years ago. So.
I did a 360 rail pre in the one of the last Red Bulls that I competed at, and I totally dedicated it to him.
Hell
I was like, this one's straight up for you, dude.
Dude, that is so dope. Yeah, shout out to you, Gabe. Much
love,
man. Much love. I actually had him out on my last movie in Boston, end of last year.
Oh, great.
Yeah, doubling Collin, who is someone that you got to double before too, which is crazy, man.
I filled those shoes for about a week.
Hell yeah. So the one thing I wanted people to see though is like, shortly after there in 07, that video we saw, you started training super hard. And when you got on Tempest, how often were you training parkour and freerunning?
I don't know. I wouldn't put a schedule on it, but I was a couple days a week.
Okay.
Sundays we were at UCLA.
Totally. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Med Center training and UCLA training.
Yeah, back in the day.
Totally. And then the days that you weren't training though, you were still working at the gym though. So like kind of inherently you're just getting work in no matter what.
Yeah, that first year on Tempest, maybe a little bit. First 2 or 3 years on Tempest, I was still coaching.
Still coaching, right? Didn't make the full switch to stunts and stuff.
No, I couldn't, man. I still had to feed myself. I wasn't working back then like I am now,
I was thinking about that. I'm like, maybe that's why you were at Pizza Hut when you got the call.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
It was just about getting cheap food.
Yeah, that was celebrating. Normally eating ramen.
Exactly. Oh, hell yeah, man. So, Sam, can you pull up a day by day? And Day by Day, man, is the video that I remember forever for you, which is also the one that Tempest premiered you as, is like welcome to the world. This is Dan
Yeah.
Mast. I remember that. And I'll always remember the first front flip down the stairs.
Yep.
That's like my favorite clip.
Yeah, that was like the best way to open the video.
But yeah, talk us through this, man. So this is obviously like one of your most iconic parkour videos. This is like the
Yeah.
one that really puts you on the map as far as a pro free runner.
Yeah, this was the video that kind of got my name out there, and you know I still have clips from this in my reel, I think.
Dude,
Yeah.
because once you do it once, you got
yeah,
it.
there's some things in here that like that gap in particular, like I've walked by that
I won't
like
do that
recently,
now.
and I'm like, no way,
Yeah. Pershing Square,
like
no
hell
way.
no.
Yeah, bro.
But back in the day, man,
Just for clips, baby.
yeah, anything for the real. Like now I'm like, shit, I got a mortgage, like I can't be doing shit like that.
Yeah, well, what's the adjustment on that one, sir? You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Oh, it's so cool,
Yeah,
man.
this video was so much fun to shoot.
Yeah, man. And so who shot this video for you?
Chad Bonanno shot the video.
Hell yeah. And you can see that flavor in the cinematography.
Yeah. Oh, this is part of my reel.
Yeah,
This is my
yeah.
reel.
This is I guess this is
Yeah, this
part
is
of the
my
reel. Yeah.
But
Where it's
all
intercut.
the free running clips from that specific reel were
Are
shot
intercut.
from Chad Bonanno.
Hell yeah.
Great dude. He's a professional animator. He for a long time he shot all of Tempest videos.
Yeah.
He shot our gym video that went viral and stuff.
Totally.
Great dude.
Absolutely insane stuff, man. You know, it's so crazy. And then around 2010 is when you pretty much, after this video, started competing on like the world stage, right?
Yeah.
Like getting introduced and invited to compete at Red Bull Art of Motions. How many did you do in total? Do you remember?
I think I did 5.
Wow.
I did 5.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and I got better and better each time. You know? first time was just a train wreck. It was just like, try not to think about that one. But then I did a few more.
Was your first one Austria? Was that?
Yes, first one was Austria.
Okay. That was a weird course too, though. It was a little different than most of the other courses.
Yeah, it felt like they were still
They were sorting it out.
figuring out what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so I was too, so we'll call that even Steven.
If I'm not mistaken, though, that's the one where you try to dash bomb.
Yeah, dash bomb to my ass.
I do remember
From
that.
like 10 feet to my
Straight
ass.
to the butt, dude.
Dude, but hey, whatever, I sent it.
Yo, that was a
Yeah.
wild competition, man.
Yeah.
Is that the one where Ryan?
It was same venue.
Different year.
The year after.
Wow.
Yeah, I was the year after that.
And were you at that one too, or
No,
no?
I wasn't.
Okay,
I
that
was-
was Dave.
I was-
That was David Elson. That's at the top of that video.
Yeah, I was supposed to be there,
Wow.
but I had my other injury that year. That was that year.
No
I
way.
think
Okay.
so.
So yeah, so let's talk about it, man. Like obviously you've had a very successful career. You competed at 5 Art Emotions. You made it on Team Tempest, which in America is probably like one of the pinnacles of our sport.
Yeah.
You know, to get on that, especially at that time, was
Yeah.
one of the greatest things in the world. But along with that also came injuries like you talked about. And so
Yeah.
the first major one you sustained back in the day was an Achilles.
Yeah.
What was the next one that took you out of the game?
It was my other Achilles.
And how did you injure it?
I injured it at Jam.
Doing a wall flip, right?
Yeah, I was doing punch fronts off the wall,
Yeah.
and I was going.
And
for
was this White
distance.
Lotus actually?
Yes, it was.
This
White
was
Lotus.
an original one, White Lotus.
Yeah.
I remember this because I was there, dude. Yeah, I got there right after it had happened almost.
Yeah, that was bad.
And so what were you doing? Invert double?
Yeah, I was doing punch fronts off the wall, but I was going from distance.
Ah, like running into it.
Yeah, running, punching, not calculating that was not a good idea.
And you
In
said
retrospect, that was stupid. But I was like, I don't know, 19, 20.
Yeah. Also in retrospect now though, that's like one of the moves they do nowadays, which is running gap, wall smash to like angel drop, backflip, or you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
you're just 9 years early. That's all.
Yeah. See, I was just trying to innovate, and it didn't work out for me.
Just body wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
The
too
sport
good.
wasn't ready for what I was trying to do, I guess.
Yo, man. And so for those people out there that have no idea what the Achilles is, the Achilles attaches basically at the bottom of your foot, right?
Yeah.
And it attaches to the connection between
It's the calf. It's the tendon that runs along your calf.
all the way
It connects
to
to
the
your
bottom.
heel.
So when that goes, it's not good.
No. No.
It does not allow you to walk really or do
No.
anything. So.
Yeah, I think since I've had the injury, they've had some progress in
Totally.
the healing side. But when it happened to me, I was bedridden for 6 months
Wow.
with, rehab. I was doing pool therapy with 80-year-old women. Like, it was gnarly. And now I hear of people, they have the same injury and they're walking in 6 months.
Yeah. How fast did Chase come back?
Chase came back pretty quick, bro. He was like flipping in 6 months.
Yeah, Chase Armitage just had his. I think you're right though. Technology just improves over time. Plus, that's crazy, man. And so, you sustained 2 of those in your life. They were on different legs.
They were different legs.
Oh my god.
3 years apart to the week.
To the week.
To the week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's even crazier to think about, man.
That was weird.
That's super weird.
Things you think about when you're laying in a hospital bed.
100%. Yeah. Like, what is this cause?
Yeah.
Is this
like,
luck? Is this a superstitious thing? That's crazy. And have you sustained any other major injuries since then?
No.
Wow. No, I know.
Yeah. No. I mean,
wood.
a couple things here: broken ribs,
Yeah.
torn rotator cuffs. I actually had a torn rotator cuff training that day.
No way.
And I was gonna get surgery, and then I had my injury, and they were like, "Oh, well, that'll heal on its own." I was like, "Okay." So.
Just by resting it.
Yeah.
No way.
So,
okay. Yeah, shoulder surgery suck. I had one, and it took me like 8 months to recover. It was insane because it's a ball and socket. So
this was just like a minor tear, so it wasn't
Okay.
insanely serious. So they were like, "Oh, just forget about it. You'll be healed by the time you're walking in anyway." So
that's wild, man. All right, well, that's awesome, man. And so what's kind of cool is that before you fully got into the stunt world, you obviously were doing more like parkour and freerunning jobs, music videos. Is there any job that like stands out in your mind as like a parkour job? Because
as a parkour,
it's so different than the stunt stuff I'm going to ask you about
different.
later. So like, yeah, is there one that stands out in your mind at all?
Off the top of my head, I would say the first real job I got. I'm trying to think if I was even union then. I might have been, but it was a free running / trampoline job I did, and it wasn't even a crazy one. It just stands out because it was like one of the first jobs I ever had.
Was it the commercial that everyone
did?
For
it
Cox?
was like, yes, Cox.
Dude, I remember that because
Cox
everyone got on that one.
Yeah, it was me, David,
Solomon was
Ryan,
on it.
Solomon was
Ryan
there.
Houchin was on it.
Yeah, that was just a really fun one because it was so early in my career, and it was like the first time I ever worked on a stage.
Totally.
And there was green screen everywhere, and at that time I'd only like read about green screens. I was like, holy shit.
Totally.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's cool, man. No, I distinctly remember that commercial. You guys were all in like business suits.
Yeah, wearing suits.
Jumping around the cubicles.
Yeah, that was super
That's cool,
fun.
man. And then one other thing that we actually shared in common, which is kind of a trip to me to look back and reflect on, was when I first started my career, one of the first things I did was I was the host of MTV's Ultimate Parkour Challenge.
Yes, you were.
And you actually got to help assist Paul Darnell, right? And some of the guys.
Yeah, I helped out Paul in a bunch of episodes on those.
Hell
And
yeah.
that was super fun.
I just remember seeing you guys wrangling all the pads and pulling them around. I think Ricky Nunez was there too. Or
I
think you were
remember.
maybe helping. Yeah, it's like 9 years ago.
Yeah,
2010.
it was.
It's crazy.
God, I forgot about that.
That's wild, man. So I guess from there, how do you make the transition into stunt work, and how did you officially start your stunt career? Do you remember?
My entire career, my entire stunt career was because of Tempest.
Wow.
So
okay.
any person I met in stunts or it was directly through them in the beginning.
Wow.
And so it's snowballed since then. Where I have a few contacts of my own, but I owe my entire career to Tempest.
That's
For
super
sure.
cool. Hell yeah, man. And then that's definitely one of the perks of being part of a team and a group is like, you have that sense of family and like.
You kind of backpack off each other and, you introduce them and they introduce you and it just snowballs and it.
Totally, man. Yeah. That's super crazy. And that's pretty much, is that how you got to double Collin Farrell on Total Recall? Because I know Gabe used to double him at one point.
Gabe was doubling him.
Yeah.
Yes, Gabe doubled him for the rest of that movie.
Yes.
I don't remember if he wasn't available.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't forget. It was so long ago. I don't remember the events that led to me doing it. But I filled in on the reshoots for about a week.
Nice. Okay.
That was super fun.
Yeah, totally. And I remember that because one of my mentors was involved in that movie. So yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah, man. And so other than Collin Farrell, I guess one of the people that like we have to bring up, someone that you've had the chance to double, is Mark Wahlberg. And how many movies have you doubled Mark on now?
I've doubled Mark on 2 movies.
Okay. In the Transformer franchise.
Yeah,
right?
we did all of the Transformer franchise, and that was just a dream.
And what 2 ones are those that he's in? It's Age of Extinction.
Age of Extinction and The Last Night.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, super cool, man. And so when you got the call for that, do you remember like how you got the call or why you got the call, or because you're a pretty good match for him. Looking at it now, it's crazy.
I know. I mean, it was funny because my entire career leading up to that, I would be working with people, and they're like, "Oh, do you ever double mark?" And I'm like, "No, I would love to though." And I got that all the time leading up to it. And then I had already worked for Mike Gunther, who was the coordinator on both those, a bunch of times, and he took that job. And then I just came on as it's just like an ND guy, soldier.
Okay.
And Mike needed a specific gag. There's this big leap from a car to another car, and I was brought in to only do that. And then Michael Bay just basically decided that, I was just gonna stay there.
No way.
Double. Yeah.
Can you pull up the one that says Jump, Sam? Transformers Jump? Is this the car jump? I'm not sure if this is the one or not.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow. And so explain to us what's happening. And for those out there listening, try to go over to the YouTube and check this out because it's a crazy picture.
So this picture is Michael is on the camera, and that silver car started about 10 feet in front of me from my start mark. And we had to run together, and we're on separate lines. So the car is being pulled, and then it gets pulled straight up, and I have to jump from the hood of the car to the car that's being lifted, and that was all in one motion together, like a little ballet of me in this SUV.
Totally, which may seem easy to some people, but in stunts we have a famous rule, which is like only one variable at a time.
Yeah,
that's a lot of variables.
The hardest part of this was myself and the car were on different lines, so they were not pulling them together.
They had to try to. Wow.
I had to direct myself to where I landed on the car and grabbed the car because I had to catch it. That wire was just an assisted jump.
It's just to help give you a little pop.
It was just a pop. The rest was me.
So the rest is practical hanging. You got to grab on.
Mm-hmm. Practical hanging, and it took some time. There was a lot of wrecks in the rehearsal.
I bet, dude. I bet.
Yeah, because the hardest part of that, I remember, was I was trying to jump to the car, but the car was moving so weird that every time I jumped to the car, I would fall and I'd hit the deck.
Oh my god!
So I had to start jumping to where the car was going to be
and just guesstimate.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I know the car's gonna be there when I get there. I hope.
Yo, that is so crazy, man. And so, like along the lines of this, Sam, try to pull up some of these other ones right here. Now I know you've done like a couple of crazy stunts, and do you have one that stands out in your mind that's the favorite of all of them?
Oh, this one was one of the funnest.
What is this one on?
This is from the last night.
Okay.
We had to just free send it down this. They called it a gimbal, and this is they gave me some ridiculous, but it was like a $6 million platform that could start flat and then rotate to about 45 degrees or whatever they wanted. And this particular gag, they would just cranked it all the way up, and they just said, send it.
Just full send.
Just send it.
That's crazy.
And then that's me and Jess Harbeck going straight in those boxes.
Shout out to Harbeck, man.
Yeah. And we used that gimbal throughout for probably 2 months of the movie because they would have it dressed.
Yeah.
We'd shoot the scene. We'd come back the next week, and it would look completely different.
And then use it in a different stereo.
Yeah, and then there were scenes where they were dumping water down it, and it was
That's pretty
crazy.
smart.
We were on that thing for so long.
Yo, Sam, try to pull up the water one. And is this on the gimbal as well?
This is on the gimbal as well.
Wow. And so
not this particular moment,
but gag.
This gag was a bit rough.
How many gallons of water is coming at you?
That is me and Antal. And they're dumping 80,000 gallons of water on us. And you can't see, but they have 4 silos of water.
They just
release them. And so we're supposed to run down the hill. They release them, and then they take us halfway up the gimbal. And then it washes us all the way down.
Oh.
Yeah, and on one particular gag, one of the water cannons was supposed to wash behind us just to give us an effect.
Yeah.
And it popped too early. And it washed us into a set piece, and we ended up breaking the set piece.
No way. Yeah, people don't realize how strong water is.
Oh, I did not until this.
Yeah, I've heard of I have a couple other friends that have done water gags where big tanks break, and they're like, dude, it breaks the camera sometimes. It can crack all the lenses, the glass. Yeah.
Yeah, we were getting worked.
Dude, freaking A,
that,
man.
I've never put my body to more. I've never pushed my body that far than that film.
I can attest to that because I've been on one Transformers with you.
Yeah.
And it was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah. It's always fun.
It's fun.
But there was plenty of ibuprofen in those months.
Yes, 100%. And many nights were on my bed like, this is the career I chose?
Yeah. Yeah, I have that
What
moment.
am I doing tomorrow?
I have that moment a couple times in a harness, and I'm like, is this really what I want to do?
Exactly.
And then it happens, and the paycheck clears, and you're like, all right, we're good.
Exactly. Yeah, sometimes I'm like, my accountant friends are chilling right now, and I am having anxiety attacks.
I wouldn't trade that for sitting behind a desk ever.
Not ever,
No,
man.
God.
Heck yeah. And so take a look at this one. What's this one?
So this is a particular scene we shot where Mark is taken out of an elevator. He crashes through a window, and he's by drone.
Okay.
And he's hanging to the drone, so he doesn't. And so the drone is spinning out of control. And to get that effect, we have a rotating drone on a wire, and attached to the crane, they are, they're swinging it. So they're swinging this rotating drone into the side of this building.
Creating a pendulum, yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
And just swinging me into this building.
And are you tagged in, or did you have to hold on?
I'm tagged in. I'm attached to it, but they want me to look like I'm struggling. My line is about half an inch below my grip level.
Yeah,
so
it's just
I'm
to
really
save you, but
holding
you have to practically hold.
I'm really holding.
Yeah, that's just so you don't fall all the way.
Exactly.
Wow, man. Now, obviously, like over the course of 2 movies, and especially in the Transformers franchise, which we kind of touched on, has some of the most insane gags that are out there. Is there one that stands out in your mind specifically as like the most difficult one? Was it the water one like you talked about, or is there another one that stands out? The water one wasn't
so difficult because it was out of my control.
Yeah.
I just had to show up, run into it, and then I was done.
Totally.
This spinning rig was not fun. I'm lowballing that. I hated that so much.
Really? And what did you hate about it? What was the worst thing about it?
The spinning? Not the height. I'm good with height.
Yeah, I know that.
Totally good with height. It was the spinning. And the problem was we tested this 100 times out on an open lot, and it was fine. But once we got into the city, the remote to get it to stop spinning didn't work because of all the buildings. Yeah. So it didn't stop spinning. And so the only way to get it to stop spinning was to just bring the whole thing down. And so it's going and going and going for the entire take, and then they call cut, and it's still going.
Still spinning.
And so then they're panicking, and then they bring the whole thing down, and I'm spinning all the way down to the ground. As soon as it got down to the ground, one of the riggers just yanked the wires out, just grabbed it as soon as he could reach it.
Yeah.
And that was like, I've never thrown it from a stunt, and that was pretty close.
Dang, that's crazy. Yeah, I could totally envision that, man.
Yeah.
Like, dang, that would definitely get you dizzy at a certain point. How many takes you have to do?
I don't remember. I think we did 4 or 5.
Oh, okay.
But this was at the end of the day. So this was the third setup of that day. First setup was sliding down the roof of the tallest building in Detroit. We did that for, 4 hours.
No way.
And then we shot on another rooftop, jumping to a flagpole.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another 4 or 5 hours.
Totally.
And then we did this at the very end of the day.
Wow. And what sucks is, like you said, you knew at a certain point after take 1 that it's going to spin forever. So going up for 2, 3, and 4 had to be horrible, knowing, oh, dude, I'm going to be so dizzy right now.
The remote only failed on the very last take.
No way.
Yeah, so
you got
not
lucky.
know. Yeah.
Oh, so that's even crazier then.
So
wow.
there were the reset was pretty okay. We'd go from the 4th floor down to like the 2nd floor, and then it'd pull me back up into the window.
Dude, that would be freaky though, even more so because it went right 3 times and then went wrong all of a sudden.
Yeah, so I just
super freaky.
I thought that maybe they wanted to spin me all the way to the ground. And that was just how they were shooting it. I didn't know the remote wasn't working until I got down there.
No way.
Yeah.
That's super wild, man.
Yeah, good times. And we still talk about it. Every time I see Gunther and all those guys, they joke around. I'm like, what are we doing today? They're like, oh, we brought out the spinning rig for you. Still, to this day. I'm like,
that's the memorable gag.
Yeah. I'm never going to live that down.
Damn, well, that is crazy, man. That makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah.
And how was it working with Mark? Did you have the chance to work closely with him over the time like of the 2 movies, or did you not get to see him so much because you're just filling in for him?
No, I saw him every day. He's super cool. He's not the guy who would hide out on set. He'd be there every day. Had no problem talking to me. We were always super cool.
Dope.
He as soon as cut on the last take, he was out though.
Yeah.
So like we never got to like hang out or
course.
like, you know, anything like that, but he was always super cool.
No,
really great dude to work with, very humble, not too eager to, you know, jump in a harness. So anytime anything was like that, I was in there.
Yeah, which is cool though, because you know, in my opinion, there's 2 types of actors. There's some that like to do everything themselves, and there's other ones that like empower their doubles to go make them look good.
Yeah.
And, you know, do the hard stuff that they don't want to do. So.
Yeah, I've been both. I've done 2-month jobs where I didn't do anything for 2 months.
100%.
And then I've done jobs where I was even just running down the street because the actor didn't want to do it.
Yeah, you're almost like a photo double at a certain point.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's when the job is a little crazy.
Yeah, but you appreciate the balance of it. You know?
Totally. Are there any other actors or guys that you've had the chance to double over the years? I know you had you were doubling someone on The Last Ship for a while at one point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was doubling. I did the last season of the Last Ship.
Okay.
End of last year, I was doubling Taylor Kitsch on the upcoming 21 Bridges movie.
Oh, no way. Dope.
Yeah, that was one of those movies where I didn't do much because he's like super athletic and super cool and very eager to do things.
Sick.
So I got to hang out like Crafty for 2 months.
Nothing better.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So that was a really fun job. That was
Okay.
cool.
Heck yeah. I remember like one of my stories that I always tell kids is I got flown up to work on Grimm by Maddie Taylor.
Yeah.
And I was going up to double a guy I doubled before, this Asian cop. And I walk into wardrobe, or walk into hair and makeup. They're like, hey, Reggie's hair is real short today. I'm like, all right. Start buzzing it like a number 4. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's going. I walk out of the trailer and I see Matt and he goes, they cut your hair.
Oh.
And I was like, what do you mean they cut my hair? Yeah, I went into hair and makeup. And he's like, dude, you're not doing anything this weekend. I brought you up to just get Reggie water. And I was like,
Oh
no.
my God.
I was just there just in case he didn't want to run.
Yeah.
But the scene was literally him running into a house and arresting someone.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. Earlier this year, I was doubling Nicky Jam.
Okay.
The Latin pop star.
Yeah.
Full head shave to the skin. Yeah, all the way down. I was running that for two months, maybe 3 months in and out.
No way.
Yeah. All the way down, all tatted, neck tats, face tats,
Dang.
shaved head.
But you were on the job for a
Yeah,
few
I was
months,
I was
so.
in and out as kind of as needed, but it would be like 2 weeks here, 3 weeks there. So,
Dang. And every time you went in, did they have to reshave it?
yeah,
Oh.
they were shaving it every day.
No
because
way.
when your hair is that short, you
can
know.
see.
Yeah, it was I was getting 5 o'clock shadows on my head.
Oh my.
So they had to shave it every day, maybe every other day if they think I wasn't being used.
Whew.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
Yeah.
Lots of hats.
Dude, my hair, this was January to March, and my hair is just now getting back to where
I was
it
just going to ask you how long it took.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just where it was when I cut it.
Yeah, mine was I remember when mine got shaved on that job, my commercial agent was like, call me in 4 months.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
Yeah, they actually just called me a week ago to see if I was available for like a couple days. And I was like,
Can't shave my head.
No, not for a couple days.
Have
I'll
to-
lose work.
Yeah, 100%. Because you kind of get pigeonholed into a very specific look at that point.
Yes. Yeah.
Which
And
is-
all my work is doubling anyway. So if I have no hair, then I have no job.
Which is true.
Yeah. So.
Which is totally true, man. That's really crazy, man. So, like, over the course of your career, the transition from parkour to stunts is something that I kind of wanted to talk about, something very specific to you. Because a good majority of our listeners are kids that delve into the tricking and the parkour community. You know, they're practitioners of the sport. And there's not always an end goal for those kids that are doing so. So I like to bring on individuals like yourself, and we've had guys like Sam on here to just show them what's possible. For a kid out there that's doing parkour and freerunning, do you have any like basic advice for them or steps that you think helped in your own career, or anything that you would do differently, you know, to save yourself some time?
Yeah, I'm like the biggest thing I can think of is just be careful. Like I get it, I get being young and that hunger to get yourself out there and to send those tricks to concrete or from the second floor or whatever. Like it's all fun and games, but if you want to do this long term, like you got to think about that. Like you have to decide early if you want to do this long term, because your body's not gonna keep up with you forever. Like I'm 31, and I look back at my free running videos, and I'm like, no way I'd do half of that shit.
Yeah, for real.
Absolutely not.
I think that all the time.
I'm
not for free.
No, yeah, not for free. Yeah, everyone's got their price. Don't get me wrong.
Exactly.
But like, you know, like even now, like from gymnastics to free running to now, like my back kills me a lot of the time. My knees ache going upstairs, and I'm like, I've slowed down my training drastically.
Yeah.
I know things changed for me when I bought a house. Because, you know, before I was living at dad's, like, whatever. If I got injured, okay, cool.
Whatever. Yeah.
Now I've got a mortgage.
Yeah.
You know, I live by myself. Like, you get hurt, you don't work.
Yeah.
And so I think if you want to pursue this as a career, you have to find that balance and plan long term.
Totally.
Like, don't just do something for YouTube views. Like, you know.
Yeah. Right now, the clout game is really big.
If I got into this game now, oh my God, kids out there are throwing insane shit.
I know. We talk about
shit.
We're like very lucky we were around 10, 15 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
I mean, like a good comparison would be like, you know, early motocross guys. Like the backflip was the thing.
Totally.
And now you don't even get invited to X Games unless you're throwing double backs.
Exactly.
And like that's exactly where parkour and free running went.
Yeah.
So
I mean, both of you guys in your old school videos, you guys both have Kong gainers, which at the time was like, oh, you did a Kong gainer. Yeah. Now you got Kaylin Chan doing 360 Kong gainer full.
Yeah, at the time that was
a double variation.
That was the thing, and that was cool. That was my highlight. And
Totally.
it's still in my reel.
Yeah.
And I shot that 10 years ago.
And now kids are doing Kong gainers off things like waist high and rails, and it's insane.
Yeah,
man.
like if I competed now, I'd get laughed at.
100%.
Yeah.
Totally. And now along the lines of like being safe, like and how your body feels, is there any maintenance that you do regularly now to help maintain yourself? Do you work out consistently? Like what's your like normal conditioning schedule like for
I'm
yourself?
a total gym rat. I'm in the gym like 5-6 days a week. A lot of the actors I get called for are bigger.
Totally.
So, you know, like there's not a lot of big white guys my height. So I kind of have that little niche, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Did you have to gain any weight to double mark?
Oh, yeah. I put on about 10 pounds to double mark.
Wow.
I think he still had 5 pounds on me.
He was big at one point.
That dude's a beast. That dude works out like crazy.
I've seen his schedule. Like I've seen his schedule online where he wakes up like 4 or something.
Yeah, he's in the gym at 3 a.m. And then he'll work out for an hour and a half. And then he goes and plays 18 holes of golf.
Yeah.
5 days a week.
Yeah, I saw that he likes to get all of his stuff done so that he can have free time at like the end of the day and everything.
He's an animal. I don't know how he does it.
That's so wild, man. That's crazy. And so for the other kids that are out there, like besides the invaluable advice of taking care of yourself and your body, it's one thing that I try to tell kids as I start to see them make the clear jump into stunts, which is I tell them, stop working on your flips so much right now because you're not going to utilize that as much. Yeah. Are there any skills in particular that you think were helpful for you? Because did you have a martial arts background growing up?
No, I didn't have a martial arts background.
Totally.
I dabbled. I took classes.
Totally.
And,
So what skills do you think are important? Because I think this is cool because a lot of the other guests I've had are guys like myself who like grew up doing NASCA and we grew up doing karate and kung fu our whole lives. So for someone like you who was a gymnast background and did parkour, what other skills do you think were very important when you're starting your stunt career to really like pick up and hone in on,
I think one of the biggest things is it doesn't need to be specifically gymnastics. It doesn't need to be specifically parkour, but like go get on a trampoline. Build your air awareness, your air sense, whatever you want to call that. Really dial that in because there's been so many times where I've done things on a wire or off an air ram, just ratchets, and like having that air awareness and finding my feet, is, I would say, one of the most important parts of stunts.
Okay.
Even just doing car hits, knowing where you are in the air and how long you have until you're hitting the ground is so important, and I think a lot of people don't have that, and I just don't think they get out there and play enough. Like they don't get on a trampoline enough,
Yeah,
I think that's super important.
It's definitely something that you do as a kid more so when you take for granted.
Yeah,
as you get older. Yeah,
you get older and you think it's important to do martial arts or tumbling or parkour. And like, as important as those are, your basic, sense of body awareness is just as important, I think.
Yeah, I think that's really, really key, man. Because we can all pretty much tell at a certain point within 5 seconds of seeing someone move.
Yes.
What their body awareness is,
Yes.
for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And I think body awareness is one of the biggest things, because as long as you're aware of your body and you're not closed-minded, you can learn anything in this world.
Yeah. And I've seen people, come onto jobs and they don't even know how to run. like not
I'm
just.
not laughing. I've been there.
And I've seen people replaced on jobs because of something so simple like that.
Just running aggressively.
Yeah. Or, it's also important to, if you do have a gymnastics background, to take your head out of a gymnastics background. Like pointing your toes in a gag.
Yeah.
As pretty as that looks, it looks like shit on camera.
Yeah, totally.
So that is also just as important.
100%.
Yeah.
And now I have another question for you, which is because of someone that's had to do a bunch of crazy gags, kind of like we've highlighted here, some of which we can't even show because luckily these are all behind the scenes clips that you own, so I can show these. But like along the lines of like some of the crazier gags and stuff like that, this isn't a topic that I get to talk to a lot of guys about on here, but does fear ever come into your mind? And is there a sense of nervousness? And if so, is it like a good thing, or do you like try to eradicate it before you do stuff? Like,
I would say, I would say not fear. I do get anxious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say anxious is a good word. I do get anxious because I'm the kind of person that will outweigh all the outcomes.
Totally.
So like, if there's something on the car that I could hit, I'll think about it.
Totally.
And it's like, it's getting my mind to not think about those things. It's kind of hard for me.
Yeah, yeah.
If like, oh, what if I end up here instead of there? Like, I'll think about that. So that is probably my biggest problem.
Okay. It's a good thing though, because it also makes you think of your outs.
Yes.
So that if something does go wrong, you didn't just take for granted that this was going to work 1,000%, because that's dangerous as well.
Yeah. If you assume that your stunt is going to go 100% every time.
Yeah.
That's such a flaw of,
Totally. And it's not to speak upon the coordinators or the guys running the systems, but there's just sometimes variables that happen. Like
There's
you said, the remote control, which on the fourth take didn't work.
Yeah.
And so you
Like,
need to know your outs.
How do you plan that? You don't. Like, you can't plan for things like that. Car hits are always, there's ways to plan it and there's ways to do it right, but there's always, no car hit you do is ever going to be the same.
Totally.
Ever. And no ratchet you do is ever going to be the same. No hand pull. Exactly. You're never going to do the same thing twice.
Yeah.
And so it's good to know that that's going to happen. Because if in your head you think that it's going to go perfectly every time, then you're going to get messed up.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. That's invaluable advice, especially for kids just getting into it.
Yeah.
You have to trust your team, but, always be aware and look out for yourself.
Yeah. Always trust your wire. Trust your team. Know your team. Know who you're working for. Like, if you don't know the dude who's on your button, like, go shake his hand, go say hi. Like,
become friends with that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
The dude doing your hand pull, like, you should be friends with that guy.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Awesome, man. And then one of the other things that I wanted to get your take on, because this is something that you and I have shared a lot of perspective on, being young single guys, because I've also had I've had other guys on the JAMCast, like Aaron Toney, for example, who spoke about how difficult it is sometimes to leave his family behind. Yeah. On the other hand, we're both young and single right now, and I know you are probably one of the biggest fans of going out on the road and working and being away from home, right?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm not married. I don't have kids. My only kid is my cat. It's super cool.
Exactly.
But, I love being on the road.
What's your favorite thing about being out there? Is it just new cities and new experiences?
I like new cities. I like new things, I like just exploring new places. Like, it doesn't even need to be an exciting place. I like going places. If I'm at home for too long, I get bored, man.
Yeah.
I got to hit the road, even if it's somewhere that sucks.
Exactly.
And I'm no stranger to being places that suck. But
totally.
It's, I like that adventure. I love that part of this job, if not one of my favorite parts of this job.
Yeah, totally. Is there a place that stands out in your mind, like the coolest place work's taken you so far, or something so desolate you'd never go back?
The one thing I've learned is that if you could hear the best things about a city and the worst things about a city, and they're never gonna be your opinion.
Yeah.
Like
true.
an example is I found out I was gonna be stranded in Detroit for 2 months.
I was there with you.
Yeah, and I was like, shit, I've never been to Detroit. Like that's a scary place. Like this is gonna suck. I had the best time of my life in Detroit. I had so much fun.
I had so much fun in Detroit too, dog.
Like the
great
city
time.
was kind of crazy, but like once you leave downtown, it's so fun. It's so beautiful. The homes are beautiful.
People are cool.
Super cool.
Super nice.
And then I went to London for 2 months thinking this is going to be awesome. I was miserable the first week.
What was it, the weather?
No, not the weather, the
okay.
people.
Oh.
Nothing wrong with the people, just the amount of people.
Oh, it's different. Yeah,
Like, I don't like cities. I don't like a lot of people. Like, a day at Disneyland is cool, but being in London was like living in Disneyland, and that was crazy for me.
Yeah,
that was
totally.
too much.
Some of my best friends in the world, like Sam, are from the UK, but every time I go, it rains, and the food is not always what I get top choice. And other than that, though, it's crazy. We get to see a lot of cool places.
Yeah,
but
it was just weird because it was in my head it was totally flopped. I was like, oh, I'm gonna hate Detroit, but I'm gonna love London.
That's so
totally
funny.
flopped.
And you know what's funny is on that movie Transformers with You is where I fell in love with one of my now favorite cities, which is Chicago.
Chicago is great.
I fell in love with Chicago when we worked there.
Yeah, that was the only time I've been to Chicago.
That was the first time I went there.
I had so much fun in Chicago.
Fell in love with that city.
We were in a great spot though.
Downtown at the Loop was great.
That was great.
I was super ignorant. I had no idea there were like mini beaches or boardwalks. And like, dude, I was like, wow, I'm out here on the sand at a bar. Like, this is crazy.
It's so easy to get everywhere. And when we were in Chicago, it was my first experience with Uber.
No way.
So I was using Uber everywhere. I was like, this is the best time of my life. I don't gotta do shit. This is awesome.
That's how long ago it was, too.
Yeah, that was like 6 years ago.
That was a while ago. That is crazy, man.
Yeah, I haven't been back since. I'd like to.
Same here, man. And luckily we left right before wintertime. I remember. I dipped out like right around fall. So
I was there at the end of September, so I felt it go from summer to fall.
Totally.
And it switched over in, no joke, a week.
And
it was cold.
Did you get the chance to go to China with them after that?
Yeah. Then we went to Hong Kong.
What was it like working in China over there? Was it okay because you were with an American production, or were there still differences?
It was an American production, but no one was American except the riggers and then a couple of the, key people,
like
first
head to department.
Yeah.
Wow. So the rest of the crew
of it was very Chinese.
No way. Okay.
Their work ethic isn't different. Like they still work hard, but it's just different. So so long ago, it's kind of hard to explain, but it was very different and it was hard to adapt.
Okay.
And then the city of Hong Kong itself was another thing that I was not expecting.
Really? What was different about it? Or?
Well, it was one of those places where we were in the nicest hotel. One of the nicest hotels I ever stayed in. And it was, if you turned left out the hotel, you were looking at Lambos, Ferraris, Gucci shops. But if you turned right out the hotel, you were looking at dudes chopping heads off pigs in the alleyway with cigarettes in their mouth. And it was like, okay.
Literally within a block.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All just which way you turned out when you walked out of the hotel.
That's wild.
I was like, okay, it's time to keep going left.
Exactly. To the left.
Yeah, go left in Hong Kong.
Now we know maybe Beyonce was in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. All right. Well,
it was wild. That was the most culture shock I've ever experienced. Because, they have the street markets.
Yeah.
And just the crazy shit that you see.
Totally.
And you're like, oh, we don't got that in the US.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's my big culture shock was Indonesia. I saw some stuff out there where I was like, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, some beautiful people because their life's so much simpler and just they're so happy, to do things that like we take for granted. It's crazy.
Sure.
So
yeah,
insane, man. So do you have a favorite city of all the places that you visited around the world, whether it's work or not work? Because I know you're a guy that travels all the time. You're about to leave town tomorrow. And
yeah. One of my favorite places I've ever been, I didn't even go for work, was Australia.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, for sure. I felt like I was home.
No way.
Like all they want to do is surf, bronze, and drink cold beer. And those are my 3 favorite hobbies.
Yes.
And so like I was there and I was like, these are my people. These are my people. I'm home. So Australia was really cool. I would go back in a heartbeat.
Which part were you in? Were you in?
I did some hopping around.
Okay.
I did Sydney.
Did you do Gold Coast or?
No, I
Okay.
didn't. I didn't go to the Gold Coast.
Okay.
That's next on my list.
Yeah, I've gotten calls for work there, but never made it.
Yeah.
So that's where I want to
I'll
go.
for sure go back one day.
Dang, that's
Yeah,
cool,
loved
man.
it.
Hell yeah, man. So along the lines of where you're at right now in our career, we're kind of at this like crazy point where we're not the young guys, we're not the old guys.
Yeah, we're somewhere in the middle.
We're in this like limbo right now.
Yeah.
Where we can like actually play guys our age, because for a long time we were playing kids and teenagers and college students. But yeah, along the lines of that, like what are your like goals in the stunt industry? Are you looking at yourself as just wanting to continue to perform and be a double? Do you have goals of being a coordinator down the road, or do you have goals of doing something else in the industry?
You know, I love the idea of coordinating one day. Like, and I know it'll happen one day. But I want to perform as long as I can.
Totally, Doug.
I want to be the dude in the harness for as long as I can. You know, I want to be that guy.
Heck yeah.
And, you know, I'll do that until I can't do that anymore, and then I'll start coordinating.
And what is that mostly from? Do you still enjoy the rush of it, the checks, or what's the motivation behind it?
You know, I have this love-hate relationship with the adrenaline of being in the hot seat. Like, being anxious in the moment, like, I hate that. But the rush of the gag itself, I'm just purely addicted to.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
And it never gets old. I'm never like, fuck, here we go again, man. Here we go again. I love it.
Heck
I'm
yeah.
addicted to it.
And I honestly thought that would be your answer. You're one of the few people that I know want to perform forever alongside Aaron Toney. He's like, he kind of wants to start coordinating, but dude, he's down to be that dude in the suit for the rest of his life.
Yeah, same.
So, heck
I mean,
man.
I think even long after I begin coordinating, I'll still accept every call that I can to be in front of the camera.
Dang. That's freaking cool, man.
Love it.
And it's funny, and the reason why I'm sitting here like dumbfounded is because I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to perform anymore.
Yeah, I know.
We're at like totally different
works.
roads.
Like we came up together, and now you do you, and I'll do me, and we just work.
And I call you, and you do you.
This is awesome. Yeah,
it's working out great, man.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because like we said, we all take our own paths, and we're both happy in the points of our career, and it's bringing us together now more so than ever over the last 10 years. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah, man. And so one thing that I always ask people before we get out of here, there's no right or wrong answer. Some people even say I have no answer, or they don't want to think about it. But where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? Where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? And I only ask this because hopefully I'll bring you back at some point, and we can reflect upon it. Yeah. And more than anything, I just like to see kind of, like what's out there, especially for the younger kids to kind of wrap their minds around,
I 5 years from now, I know I'll still be in front of the camera.
10
years, I know I will be too, but I think in 10 years I'll probably be doing some stuff behind the camera as well.
Okay.
As long as I love this, I'm going to keep doing it.
Hell yeah.
And I don't see myself getting burnt out on it.
Heck yeah.
Even, maybe the gags might be different, Like maybe I'll turn down a couple next to concrete every once in a while.
I've done that one before.
Yeah. Like, oh no, get that kid.
Get the younger kid a real clip, yeah.
But I mean, I don't see that happening for a while.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Hell yeah.
I love the rush. I love how every job is different. No job or gag has ever been the same twice for me. So even doubling the same actor on 2 movies, we never did the same thing twice.
Totally.
So.
And that's what keeps it fresh, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think either of us could sit at a desk job for the rest of our lives or even a week. So.
Dude, this last job I did was in an office building in cubicles, and the scene took place in like a corporate meeting. And I was banging my head on the wall. I was like, this sucks.
And it's just a scene.
I'm in a suit. It's just a scene. I was just there for a day. And I was like, this is horrible. Oh, my God.
It's so funny.
Yeah,
bro.
they're talking about, like, stocks and TPS reports. I'm like, oh, God.
Even for a day on set, you
couldn't
handle
do
it,
it.
dude.
Just walking down the aisle of cubicles, I was like, oh, my God.
Dude, that's how you know you were meant to be a stuntman.
And then I'm on set, and I'm, like, texting people. Friends of mine, not in stunts, that are sitting in cubicles. I'm like, I don't know how you do it, bro.
Exactly.
I don't know how you do it.
I'm losing my mind on day one.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that is hilarious. That pretty much sums you up
Yeah.
to the T.
Yep.
Yeah, like
No.
I honestly I can't see you in anything other than these outfits, bro. Whenever I see you on set, I'm always like, "There's Dan the man in the black with the jeans, baby."
Yeah. Yep.
No matter how hot or how cold it is.
No.
Heck
No.
yeah, man.
I always do my thing.
Well, dude, I appreciate it, man, and I really appreciate you coming by and spending some time with us and giving some insight, especially to these kids out here who started very similar to
Yeah.
us. You know,
Thanks for having me, man.
hell yeah,
This was
man.
fun.
So before we get out of here, real quick, just to swing that mic in front of you, look into that camera, and tell people where they can follow you if they want to stay up to date on Dan Mast. You know, let them know.
You guys can follow me on Instagram, and that's about it. I don't have Twitter. I haven't uploaded anything to YouTube in a while. Everything just goes on my Instagram. So
We'll throw it
you
on
guys
the
can follow my crazy life.
Hell yeah, guys. And as always, guys, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for brand new episodes each and every week. Join us every Monday for brand new jam breakdowns and every Friday for brand new JAMCast, interviewing influential members of the movement community like Mr. Dan Mast himself. So, guys, I got to give a very special shout out to Mr. Sam Parham for running the cameras in the Switcher app. We got to give a special shout out to our guest this week, Mr. Dan Mast. Hell yes. And as always, guys, coming through, I'm your host, Travis Wong. Thanks for joining us here on another JAMCast. Until next time, we'll see you all soon. Peace.